Welcome to Microsoft OneNote. As its name implies, it is the one note-taking app that you will need for the rest of your career as an educator. Let's get started and see how to use the app. When you first enter OneNote, you will be greeted by a simple user interface. On the left, you have your notebooks divided into sections, each with their own pages. To get started on a new notebook, we will right-click here, click on New Notebook, and here we will browse our computer files. Okay, here's where we want to enter our notebook name. I will be titling this notebook Lessons. Click on Create, and congratulations, you have created your first notebook. Now, we want to discuss the user interface of Microsoft OneNote more closely. But what do we mean by this? We can define the user interface of a software application as the design that allows the user to interact with the application. Microsoft OneNote has one of the most intuitive and accessible interfaces, making it easy for educators to access its variety of tools as they go on with their lesson. On the top, we have 8 buttons that serve to organize the application, 6 of which are content related and 2 of which are supplementary. The Home tab contains options commonly found in other Microsoft Office products, such as basic text and formatting. For instance, we could use this when titling a lesson in the Canvas. The Insert tab allows us to introduce multimedia to the application, from images and video to Excel spreadsheets and audio recordings. Educators could use this feature to insert external images that pertain to a lesson, such as placing a poem that will be analyzed in class. The Draw tab is super important to creating your content, and we will discuss it in more detail briefly. The History tab is useful if you're working with multiple authors, for instance in peer collaboration with other teachers. The Review tab pertains to accessibility features and setting passwords. For example, a teacher could lock a note containing the answer key to a test with a password only they know. The View tab allows us to change the background view of the paper canvas, from changing the page color to adjusting its size. If I'm teaching a geometry class, I might want grid lines on my paper, whereas if I was teaching an English class, I would most likely want ruled lines if I'm writing, say, an essay. The 2 supplementary buttons are the File and Help tabs, which deal with the local files in your computer and provide help with a software feature, respectively. Now I know, this is a lot of information to digest, but I will assure you that there's nothing to worry about. You will typically only use the Insert and Draw tabs, which we will now take a closer look at. Now that we know the basic user interface, let's get started on our new project. We will title this section Algebra, and I'll title my page System of Equations. Now, if you go to the ribbon and click on Draw, we will find our main drawing tools. It is suggested that you have a touchscreen device, a drawing tablet, or even a mobile device to draw, though it is entirely possible to draw with a standard mouse. So, we have a couple of features to choose from. We have the pens, the highlighters, and the eraser. I will choose a pen to perform some math. Please note that the pen has various options for colors and thickness. In this case, I will want to use a blue pen of somewhat medium thickness. In order to confirm your selection, you'll press OK. Now let's suppose I mess up on my work somewhere and I want to erase it in order to not confuse students. The first thing I would do is highlight the area that I want to remove. Second, I will use the eraser feature on the top left and pick from the 4 erasers that OneNote offers. We could use a small eraser, a medium eraser, a large eraser, or a stroke eraser. In this case, I will be using the large eraser. Now, let's say that I wanted to assign my students some homework. This is a perfectly good opportunity to apply the skills that we have just acquired. First, I will create a new page and title it Homework. Now, I want to choose a new pen that is ideally red for emphasis and thick so that even the students in the back could see the text. I'll click OK, and I will get to my work. From its many features to its simple design, Microsoft OneNote allows educators to capture their ideas into a virtual and accessible notebook. This is incredibly useful in a variety of scenarios, from remote teaching to the transition into a paperless classroom. The successful integration of this technology is the main reason that it is such a widely employed application in the education field. With these tools, I'm confident that Microsoft OneNote will be the most useful tool you will ever use as an educator.